Welcome to the Transnet podcast. My name is Zimasa Vabaza, and we are post the SAPEX conference in Cape Town, and we are hosting a procurement engagement day with suppliers. But today I have got Mogogodi, who is the General Manager of Procurement Management at Transnet Property. How are you?
I'm very fine, thank you.
Very, very well. I want us to just jump into creating the scene for people who are listening and watching about what this day is about, and also what are we hoping to achieve.
The name of the forum itself is telling, Supplier Engagement Forum. So it's where Transnet attempts to engage with suppliers in their region. That is why it's going from one main town to another. So we try to go where they are, meet with them physically, and interact. And we deal with what we consider pertinent issues to do with suppliers. You'll notice that most of our engagement with suppliers is through the tender.
Yes.
I almost say tender box, but we don't do the
that
box
anymore.
anymore.
Yes.
We moved to being automated, but that we communicate through the tender, and our relationship is established on the results of the tender with those then that are successful. And we would go then into a relationship with them for over 3 years. And in that relationship, and through the years, we've picked up some things that need to be addressed.
Yes.
And in these forums, we then air those things, both from the Transnet side, and
Supplier
also we
side.
listen to the suppliers as well, because they're given opportunity to air their views.
Yes.
Yeah.
So let's look at some of the challenges. What are some of those challenges that you are experiencing with suppliers, and how are you fixing it? And are they amenable to this new way of work that procurement at Transnet is championing?
I believe they are. If you're sitting in the room and engaging with them, you do get the feeling that there is hunger for improving supply chain management, but more so procurement. And they're responding to the invitation. If you look at the numbers, they do respond to the invitation. So there is that hunger to improve. And we do find that the problems that we're experiencing, that we express, they are on the other side of the coin. So I think that the things that we've picked up, you kind of notice that they are relevant. Okay. We on the mark. So then there is that willingness to say, okay, let's both solve the problem together.
Let's fix it together.
Let's fix it together. Let's be collaborative. One of those is of course, I think the issue that comes up front is that of fraud and corruption. Yes. And I think for Transnet, it's coming out of the recent era. Yes. And having to put the matter on the table. Yes. So our GCPO, the Group Chief Procurement Officer, is not shy about putting this taboo subject on the table, right? And we become honest about it. Yes. He's also invited the suppliers to say, you're going to have in this forum opportunity to talk about Transnet, those that are already existing suppliers. Actually, all that are invited are existing suppliers, to say, we want to hear from you how you experience Transnet. And we're not just asking for the good story, tell it like it is.
The real story.
The real story. Yes. So tell it like it is. So they do come up and air then their views. And I've spoken about fraud. They have spoken about their difficulty in communicating. Yes. I call a buyer, send an email, never get a response. I go to the next person sends me back to the very one and send another email. Yes. The same email goes into the same black box, and I don't get a response. So that's another issue that we need to work at. And on our side, as much as we want to be open and have a face with the supplier, there's also that risk of that openness being abused. Yes. Especially during the period where a tender is open. Yes. You know,
preferential treatment.
Yes, preferential treatment, because we've got access to people that are involved in the tender. So, and we know where this comes from and what complications it can create. So finding a good balance in this, and I'm maybe just picking on this few, because they are so central to the relationship that we are working on through these engagement forums.
Yes.
There are other issues, but when you build a relationship,
you can solve things quicker.
You can solve things quicker, and we are now having the opportunity to address those problems of, okay, who are you? Can I trust you?
Yes.
Please don't tempt us, because there's a corruptor and a corruptee. So don't be a corruptor. We will not have a corruptee.
Yes.
Okay. So they are saying, I need to speak to you, but I can't. So we need to work on that to then have a way that a supplier is able to engage with us without having to report, and then only then something comes out. And also the system itself that we have introduced, there's still teething problems, so they are still finding challenges when they use the system. And again, I'm dealing with a system, but there's no go-to person. So what do I do then when my tender is late, the system is slow, and I can't, when I press the button, it doesn't
It doesn't upload,
It doesn't upload. So those things still do come up. Then what we also dealt with was the quality of the response that we get from the supplier. Remember, a tender is also a communication tool.
Yes.
So we can only go by what is contained in the tender.
What you sent us is what we have to go on.
What you sent us is what we have to go on. We can pick up a phone and say, hey, what
something's missing.
Something is missing. If it's not there, it's not there. Yeah, there are some things that we can clarify, which we call essential documentation.
Yeah.
So if it is there, we can ask, we don't understand this, what did you mean?
Yeah.
But it's limited, it's restricted. So we try in that when then it gets there, everybody knows what to do. Everybody understands this medium that we're using to communicate between the two of us. So we go into how then to respond on a tender, because those are typical problems that we find. You find that not enough attention was put into this communicating to us, right?
Yes, this way of work.
This way of work, this way that established the relationship. And then we know, but this supplier could have done this, so why is it not here? And then you can't say,
is that, sorry to interject, is that why you are actively trying to capacitate them as suppliers to say, this is how you this is the better way to work with us, one. Two, by creating transparent and well-known means of communication and parameters for communication, you can actually get a better service from us, because you're not going outside of the guardrails and putting us as the professionals, the procurement professionals, in a tight spot to say we have now preferred one person over the other.
Right.
That's one. The other thing I was thinking about is this why I had a really great conversation with the GCPO, and one of the things that came out of there was the separation of procurement itself, but also supplier relationship management. So maybe give us an understanding around that. I know that you've touched on it a little bit now, but it's starting to illuminate more that the separation of the people who are actually doing the procurement and those who will be able to communicate as a supplier relationship managers. How is that going to start working now?
Well, he's appointed a senior manager now that will then build that
unit,
that will facilitate the unit, right? And I'm sure that we'll see this growing. And there's then going to be a better communication space. Yes. Because remember, the tender is the beginning of courtship. That's the courtship, right? And then then we get into a legal.
Then you're married now.
Then kind of a relationship, right? Yeah. This one is
contractual,
finite. It's finite. The other one should be perpetual. So this one is that it will be finite. And in that 3-year, 5-year, now we talking about establishing maybe longer contracts. And that period then, at the moment, it's touch and go. It's dependent on what everybody is bringing, and there's no structure to it. So the supplier relationship manager will then bring the framework and the structure to then regulate that relationship. Yes. Right? And it's established, we know it, but we don't practice the framework, such as having regular meetings now, physical meetings. You sit on that side of the table, I sit on this side, and we say, how are things going? Are you delivering things on time? Are you billing me per the agreement? Are you getting any response from us?
What are your challenges? Yeah.
My challenges are that the quality that you promised, you're not delivering on it, so what's going on? You know, Transnet experiences shortage of cash.
Yeah.
There are people who should go to first and say, hey, you know, I know you're doing business, you need to survive, but what's the minimum for you to survive in the next 3 years?
Yes.
What's your profit margin? It's no longer 25%. The minimum is 15%. Okay, can we agree then to drop the price in this period just to get Transnet itself to survive? You're making a contribution to the sustenance of the economy. Yeah. You know, so that's all in the supply relationship management framework and the strategic relationship.
It makes you think why a lot of this wasn't done beforehand, but we are here now and we're moving forward. And having been at SAPEX and seeing the strides that are being made in procurement and supply chain management, we got to also speak around logistics and how that fits into the production of goods, and also making sure that we have spare parts, etc., and the collaboration with OEMs now. Now, I want to look at some of the ESD expansion plans, because there was a conversation brewing around how the new way of working, where you will find the bigger OEMs who create the stability, have longer lead times, longer contracts, will be working with enterprises that are from South Africa to deliver the projects or products or spare parts or whatever is needed, goods and services, to Transnet. How is that expansion going to work, and how will we fit our businesses, existing businesses and existing suppliers, into this new way of work from a procurement perspective?
And this is where the ESD, Enterprise Supplier Development, comes in to assist in how to do that. Because we as buyers are not necessarily experts at it. So when ESD is established, led by Lusanda, and we formally then put those things in place with the likes of NACAM and the IDC and other organs of state that are assisting in this, they will come in. But it will work very well if there is already a bed, right? That foundation of a good relationship and a strategic relationship. So that will work. There has to be trust from the supplier side. And we must also be trustworthy in that we do this objectively. We promise and keep it clean, ethically, and keep it clean. And I'll bring it back to Transnet Property. Yeah, Transnet Property is a fledgling. It's still a new division. So all of that is not established at all. So we're starting right from scratch to then get into ESD. At the moment, there's practically nothing to talk about. But I'm excited about these times. That's why I'm spending more time in the different regions to then follow through and say, okay, now that we have said these are the commodities that will be in the market soon or in this financial year, where are the suppliers? Yes. So ESD then must then go out and guide us to identify them, to assess them, their capability, whether they're even there, or where there is nothing to go, is to then start and establish them. Incubate. All in a fair way. So that's where we are for Transnet Property. Still very basic. Okay. We're still just starting, but we're excited about it.
So I want to firstly also thank you for your time, unpacking a lot of issues that for the people who watch this, they will get a lot of enlightenment. But this is the question we've been posing to everybody, and I know it's still post SAPEX, but we want to understand from the people who are at the coalface like yourself, what does a reinvented Transnet procurement business function system unit look like in the future? And all of this new way of work that you're putting in, which is very exciting, what does the future look like for you when all of this is working really well and everyone is singing from the same hymn sheet?
We can't do it on our own. You even went into bigger than just procurement, which is buy and sell. Yes. And you're talking about the bigger value chain of what, remember, procurement is a subset of supply chain management, which includes logistics. Yes. So there are all these issues that we need to collaborate on to be able to enable freight to be delivered reliably.
Just in time.
Just in time, reliably, through trusted relationships and collaborative relationships. So we want to take procurement beyond you give us a tender, we advertise, you reply, we sign a contract, you deliver day to day, and you're out. I'll go back to the scenario where when we Transnet as a business have got a logistics issue, that there's a hurdle happening somewhere.
Yes.
There's infrastructure theft, damage to our infrastructure, sabotage. That, firstly, we must know that our suppliers are not involved in it.
Yes, 100%.
Yes, right? And secondly, we can run to them and say, guys, we are under attack. Can we together face this enemy and do something about it?
Fix the problem.
Fix the problem. You know, so they're an extension, suppliers are an extension of
the work you do.
Of the work we do. We can't do it on our own. Otherwise, we'll go back to the old days where a organization of state does everything.
It's too centralized.
You start with steel. You know, you then manufacture this steel, you then, then bring it and then go lay the rail and then build your cargoes and do everything
and then import yourself.
Yes, so we're out of that. At the moment, most of what we do is actually done by others, and these are the suppliers. Like Vula said, it's like a scrum in a rugby match. So we're pushing them forward. We're pushing these suppliers forward to say, our end user, our operations need 1, 2, 3. You are the guy that can do it. Please come in. That's the role of procurement assist. But it goes beyond that into the whole supply chain management. So it must be collaborative. Otherwise, it's like, I don't know, even when we grew up, when we grew up, right, and we had that corner coffee shop.
Yes.
Right? And my mother would send me to the store. Well, if I'm at that age, there's an age where you are the one that goes to the store, right? Go buy milk every day and buy bread every day.
The essentials.
In the afternoon, you go buy fresh meat and so forth. Even there, relationships were established. You know, Tate Makwarela knew that, I'm his customer.
Yes.
At the end of the year, I still remember one time he gave me a gift just because I'm a customer. That's establishing relationships. Right? I'm no longer just somebody that walks into the shop and goes, they know my name.
Yes.
And they'll ask me, where's your daddy? Auntie Witsi Papa. Yeah, okay. So there were those relationships that we built. And we still must continue in that way, in a fair manner, giving everybody an opportunity. But we need to collaborate. It's not just running tenders. Otherwise, it's boring.
Non-negotiable. Thank you for your time. I hope that the engagements with the suppliers go as well as what I've seen peeking into the door. And I hope you enjoy the rest of your work for this year, and may the future be brighter. Thank you.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks.